Kiryandongo Refugee Settlement is home to over 150,000 refugees fleeing conflicts in Sudan, South Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Elam Abdurrahman, a mother of 2 daughters, balances sticks over a shallow pit she had dug behind a tent. This is the family's temporary latrine.
I arrived a month ago. My daughters and I have no toilet. I had to hire someone to dig this hole for me, so we don't have to walk to the public toilet far away, especially at night.
Originally from Sudan, Abdurrahman describes what until recently was a stable and dignified life.
We had a home, a real bathroom. We lived well. Then the fighting came, we ran, and now here we are, starting again without even a place to go to the toilet.
The public latrine is a few hundred meters away from her tent.
At night, the bush is our only option. Sometimes my daughters cry because they are scared to go out in the dark, so they hold it in or go behind the tent.
Just across the compound, another mother, Moja Issa, shares the same reality. With 3 children under age of 10, she tries to maintain some level of privacy and hygiene.
I wake up each morning to clean around the tent because the children have defecated in the open. We cannot take them to the public toilet in the middle of the night, and we cannot stop the nature.
Open defecation is a coping mechanism for some new arrivals in the settlement, especially for those who have not yet been allocated proper sanitary facilities.
Yes, there are times minor cases of open defecation, just because of inadequacy of latrines. But majorly what happens in the community, members of the community tend to use latrines that are constructed in the neighborhood.
According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees data portal, between January and May this year, 15,017 new arrivals from Sudan have settled here. This surge has outpaced the development of sanitation infrastructure. Stephen Bweyale, the assistant camp commandant, explains that communities are clustered to facilitate communal latrine access, with the expectation that within 3 months, households will have constructed their own toilets.
They are members of the community, people with disabilities, people with specific needs, that even when you give them the digging kits, they cannot dig. They need latrines constructed for them. And that is a gap where not very many partners are putting resources.
55-year-old Ismail Muhammad Abdallah arrived from Sudan in April. He had to construct his own latrine after the camp's general facility was overwhelmed. Despite building it for his family, he shares the latrine with 3 families.
And I have got neighbor here, 2 families. They use this with me. I cannot refuse to them because our neighbor, we stay in one camp, and majority of them we are refugees.
According to the Sphere standard, a maximum of 20 people should share one latrine in an emergency setting. However, in this settlement, it is not uncommon to find one latrine serving over 60 people.
As I speak, Kiryandongo Refugee Settlement is at 56% sanitation coverage. So that is indication that 56 out of 100 households have latrines.
Olivia Yebare, a water, sanitation and hygiene officer at the Lutheran World Federation, or LWF, explains that many families use one facility which wears down the latrines quickly.
We have people that we call persons with special needs. These could include the elderly, the chronically ill, and there are those that come when they are still minors, and these might not have the capacity to excavate their own individual latrines. So this becomes a challenge because when we look at the criteria that we use, we always do sensitizations and encourage the community to also have an initiative before we can provide the dome-shaped slabs.
Joel Kagodo, the medical team leader of the International Rescue Committee in Kiryandongo Refugee Settlement, says poor sanitation is contributing to a rise in diarrhea diseases.
I could speak case in point to diarrhea diseases. I think routinely they are averaged at about 3% of the total clients that we see in a week.
When NTV visited Panyandoli Health Center 4, we found a mother nursing twin infants who had contracted diarrhea.
When I came to the hospital, the baby was tested. Malaria was negative, but the diarrhea, babies were diarrheating seriously, watery.
Kagodo points out that while many factors contribute to diarrhea, open defecation and shared latrines significantly increase the risk.
Of course, when you see diarrhea in a population that presents to you at a health facility, our very first question is, how is the wash aspect of this particular client?
LWF has cast and distributed over 3,850 dome-shaped latrine slabs since 2024 to enable households to construct pit latrines.
Government standard is to have 100% coverage of latrines. So this means that we are not yet there with a 56%. So if we could have this number of slabs increased to cover at least 85% of the entire population, we would be good to go to meet at least a UNHCR standard.
As Kiryandongo Refugee Settlement absorbs more arrivals, the need for sustainable water and sanitation infrastructure is urgent, requiring a stronger, coordinated and well-funded response.